Hey guys, welcome to my live at lunch video. Today is September 22nd, 2020. I am just shocked and amazed that it is the end of the month already. I feel like we just got started. So today I wanted to make a card using some techniques that we've already looked at in some of my previous lives, and we're going to use the High Tide stamp set, which is part of the 24-hour flash sale tomorrow, so you can get it for 15% off. I love the stamp set. It's pretty awesome. I bought it when it first came out. That's why it's got the green instead of the black on there. We've had it for a while, and it's so awesome. So we're just going to make a card. We're going to do some masking and some two-step stamping. So hopefully you remember some of that. So I've got a Night of Navy card base with some smoky slate cardstock and a couple of pieces of Whisper White cardstock. So one of these is for the inside and one is for the outside. I'm going to set these pieces aside because we don't need them right now. I just have to remember where I set them because I have a tendency to lose things. Alright, so I'm going to stamp my inside first, and since I'm using photopolymer stamps, I want to have something to stamp on. Like this cardboard that comes in my paper pumpkin is absolutely perfect. So we're going to stamp just a little message here. I'm going to use some Night of Navy and one of the sentiments from the stamp kit, the one that says, "Let hope be your lighthouse beckoning you through stormy seas." I'm going to do a scene on the front of the card, so I really don't want to have the words on the outside. So we're going to come in, and I'm going to stamp it. Ooh, where do I want to stamp it? We'll just put it up here in the corner. Come down. Push down pretty hard. Oh, darn it. Okay, paper has two sides. Let me clean that off. I pushed too hard on the ink pad and I got ink all over on the inside right here, which is a total bummer. Okay, so we're just going to tap, tap, tap. I'm going to pull out the baby wipe because I did it again. Alright, so I'm just going to clean this really carefully and quickly. And I totally cleaned my words off, so let me just clean the whole thing. Keep getting that middle part right there. So let's hope that I can stamp this without making a giant mess again. Well, alright. I'm going to try to go right back over the top. And I made a giant mess again. Alright. So, here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to remove that, and we're going to try again. And let me grab some cardstock again. We'll chop this down. I will someday do a Facebook Live where there's not some sort of a disaster. So, alright, I'm going to cut this down. It's 5¼ inches by 4 inches. And that will fit on the inside of the card just beautifully. And I'm not going to use that scrap there. We're just going to stamp directly without that buffer. Alright, so we're just going to tap carefully. I still have just a smidge of ink right here, and it makes me nervous since I have messed up a couple of times now. Alright, we're going to see how this goes. Third time's a charm, right? Alright, so that looks terrible. Okay, we're going to move on. I can't stamp that 6 times. Alright, so the next thing I want to do is I just want to add some birds flying. So I'm using the bird image, and I'm going to stamp off up here, and then I want to stamp these so that it looks like the birds are flying through the image. So you just get that shadow. I will restamp this before I send it to anybody because it's terrible. Alright, so we're going to stamp off again and add in a second flock right there. And just to make it lovely, we'll do just one more up in the corner. So you got that going on there. And then I want to add in some of these little blades of grass. I'm using Mossy Meadow and stamping in the corner. And then I'm going to take the single blade of grass image. We're just going to add that in using Old Olive. And it goes the opposite direction. So we've got that in there. So normally this would be beautiful right here, but we're going to pretend, and it will go on the inside of the card. So it'll go right here. So I will get a cleaner image to put on the inside here. And then we'll set this back off to the side. Alright, so for the next part, this is where we're going to do some two-step stamping. We're going to do there's two lighthouse images. Let me pull the stamp set out. So there's this one here. Make sure there's not a bad glare. Okay, so there's this image here that is more like the solid wall bit, and then there's a part here that's an overlay, and it adds some more texture and depth to the lighthouse and adds in some of those details. So I'm going to stamp this first part in Smoky Slate. I'm going to stamp it about a third of the way over on my cardstock here. And I want it to be just a little bit lower. I'm going to come in and stamp. I do have my inks sitting off to the side just so that they're ready to go. And I'm using basic gray for the top detail portion. So we're going to come in, I'm going to turn this a little bit so that I can see and line up. I think I'm right where I want to be, so we're going to go down. And now you get that lovely detail, and I had ink on my fingers. Guess what's going to go there? A bird. We're going to cover up my ink smear on my card. Alright, so now I'm going to use some Sahara sand, and I'm going to add some sand around the base of the lighthouse down here. So we're going to add that in. And this has a little notch in it right here, so you can line it up with the base of your lighthouse. So we're going to come in and we're going to do just that. And this does not want to stamp that bottom corner. Alright, I picked it up. I would not recommend doing this, but it helps me get that image in. Alright, now I want to do a little bit of masking. And I talked last week with that, with the other card. Let me grab it so I can show you. This fabulous card that was made by Natalie. So she's got that circle here that she's, it looks like it's been sponged with different shades of yellows and orange to make that sunset. And I'm going to kind of do the same thing. So what you do is you have a template, and I've cut a circle out already, and you just lay it where you want it to go. So I wanted this to go over the lighthouse so that the lighthouse is here, but I also needed to mask off the lighthouse itself. So remember to do that. You just stamp your image on a post-it note and cut it out. So we're going to do that super quick. It doesn't have to be gorgeous, it just has to be sticky. because I don't want the inside of my lighthouse to turn the oranges and yellows for the sunset. I want it to stay white. Alright, I'm trying to make sure I stay in the camera. I got a new stand to do lives with, and it works pretty well. I'm pretty excited about it. And then my other stand is great for doing my pictures. And the stands are just camera mounts that I can set my phone in. So someday I will be a professional videographer. I'm just kidding, not so professional, but I'll do a better job. We're learning. That's the fun of this project. Alright, so to protect my lighthouse, I'm going to stick my image on where I've already stamped. Line that up with my post-it note. And then we're going to put this here. And just to secure it, I'm going to grab just another blank post-it note and just stick it here so that it holds it. Alright. So the first, I'm going to do this with my Stampin' Blends. I saw this done at a stamp camp I participated in, and I thought that is too good to be true. So I tried it and I was like, oh my heavens, it's amazing. Alright, so I'm using my Stampin' Blends. You can use your stamp pads and some sponges, or your sponge daubers. These are so fun, but I'm out of empty ones, so we're just going to use our blends today. So I'm using the paintbrushy side, and I'm coming in and I'm just going to color, and I want that to be nice and wet. And I'm going to be careful coloring over my post-it note because I don't want it to lift up. So I'm going to color that. So that was light pumpkin pie. Now I'm using my light mango melody. Again, I'm using the paintbrushy side, and I'm going to start at the top, and I'm just going to color over everything I've already colored. And then I'm going to go down just a little bit more. And I love my blends because they don't really leave like coloring marks, which is really nice for something like this. And this will look pretty awesome, hopefully, when it's all done. Okay, so the next color I'm using is Dark Daffodil Delight. And again, I'm going to come from the top. I'm just going to color down. I'm trying to remember who demonstrated this. Some of my friends who I know are watching. If you remember, like, please shout out. I want to say it was Melody Hyde from Hammond and a Penny. She's amazing. So, alright, so my next color is the light So Saffron, and I'm just going to start down here at the bottom, and I'm just going to fill this in a little bit down here at the bottom. Can I come up a little bit? Because you want that like darker color and then fade down to your lighter color. And I'm hoping I didn't bleed through my post-it note. That would be embarrassing. Alright, so I'm going to remove this post-it note so that I can lift this off. And now you've got this gorgeous sunset back here. And while I have this up, I do want to stamp some water back behind my sandbar, just so that it looks like I'm really like beaching this up. So, I dropped my stamp. It's not an adequate Facebook Live if I don't drop something, but at least it wasn't disastrous. So, I'm going to use my Night of Navy again. We're going to come in, I'm just going to stamp, and I want to stamp off a little bit, and then come in, and we're going to just stamp right under the sunset. If it feels like I'm making this up as I'm going along, I kind of am. But that's the fun of these projects. Alright, so I've got that. I'm going to come just finish our way across the card here. So we have our water, and then I'm going to remove this. It got a little bit on there. It's okay. It's still pretty. Alright, so I want to add some of my, what are these called? The weeds. So we're going to come in, we're going to stamp some here. Again, I'm using Mossy Meadow. And I'm using my rule of 3. I've got 3 of those in there. And then I'm going to come in and I'm going to fill in with my Old Olive. And I'm going to stamp off on this one just to switch up that color a little bit. And I am stamping over other inks. But that's okay. It adds to the project. And then I'm going to add those birds that we had on the inside of the card, but I'm going to use my basic black. We're going to have some flying here into that sunset. And then I want some to look like they're a little further away, so I'm going to stamp off. And I'm not going to use the whole stamp. I'm going to stamp off the card. I'm just going to use those first 3. Oh, I forgot about my issue with my spot. So I'm going to clean that off so I don't have ink all over everything. And then just ink up one bird. Just one. We got that little guy in the corner. We're going to put him right here. I'm going to stamp him there. And I got a little bit of water on that. So, okay. And I've got some blank spaces down here where I need to fill in with sand, so I'm going to hurry and do that. And I'm just using my Sahara sand again, and I'm going to flip this over and stamp upside down. This is the one I used here, and I didn't want to get that indentation that goes around the lighthouse. So we've got our sand and our lighthouse, and now we're going to put our card together. Okay, so I'm going to add some adhesive here. I'm just going to go around with my Stampin' Seal. So I know a lot of people are like, oh, you don't have to use as much, and you really don't. This definitely sticks a lot more, but I don't like having the gaps on the sides. I can't do it. So I do still use my Stampin' Seal all the way around the edges. So fill that in, and then we're going to put some Stampin' Seal on this gray cardstock. We'll make sure we're doing it the right way. I almost put that on upside down. Alright, so we're lining this up. I always line up my long edge first. And there we have it. Just a simple card. It required the masking and the 2-step stamping here, and just filling it all in. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'm going to pick a random person who commented on the video today and send this card out to them after I redo my inside, because I don't like the little splotches there. So anyway, I hope that you're having a great Tuesday, and I will catch you again next week. Bye!